Hi, this is Shirish Kulkarni, founder and CEO of Strot Consultech, driving this company for last 5 years, mainly focusing on small and medium businesses for their growth. In this new program called as Hatke, we are talking to personalities, industrial people, entrepreneurs, professionals who are thinking Hatke differently towards the current situation, which actually some people are looking at maybe constrained or so-called difficult. And we have a privilege to have a young blood with us, Indranil Chitale, who is the fourth generation of a very well-known brand, Chitale. And we have him who would share about his insights, about his viewpoint on the current context. So we are glad to have you, Indranil, on this session.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So starting with Indranil, tell me, I have been knowing you to really look forward towards technology, and many of us, might not be knowing that you have such a kind of a grand strategy already planned. So is it something that is helping out in the current context? How do you look at it?
Yeah, I think definitely we had a shock effect when this whole lockdown mode started. But I would say that our previous investments, which we have lined up over the last 5 years, are proving to be a very useful investment in this time right now. So we bet pretty early on the idea of packaging mithai, namkeen, sweets as well, which were conventionally known to be sold fresh. All of that market had started picking up over the last 2 years, but now with the conventional retail mechanism locked down, the only way we can reach our customers through packaging. So that way, this vision that we had, we of course did not anticipate the idea that India will go under a lockdown.
Hmm.
But this idea that everything needs to reach the consumer, and we need to move ourselves from being as a seller's market and a seller commanding the equations to being a buyer's market where the people need to access our product wherever they are, whenever they are, and whenever they want. So you have things like smartphones now in every pocket where people are able to order it. So all of this access and ability to serve this is helping us retain brand loyalty as well and keep people happy amidst this stressed environment of a lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, we are emphasizing more and more on increasing the product range there, increasing our availability across the country as and how the lockdown rules permit, and just being there for the customer whenever they want us to be.
Okay, so moving from a brand which was actually local, known to be local, differentiated to be local, how do you feel with this whole mechanism of machinery behind you, the digital, maybe electronic platform with you? How do you feel like a global brand, and how do you reflect it in the current context? How is it challenged or not challenged?
No, it is challenging, of course, because the situation is something that we cannot really have a very long term view about. So right now we are in a reactive mode where every day there are new challenges, new rules, new nomenclatures coming in, and we have to adapt to that. But fortunately, the backbone that we have with regards to the automation that we've employed, the people skills and the way we manage people that we put in place, the systems around it, and the ability that many of our people can work from home because of the IT infrastructure that we have in place, where the minimal required people are there in the factory. Apart from that, everybody else is working remotely. Is all culminating together to create a good picture for us. So we are settling into that zone, and the challenges will continue to exist. But I'm very sure that whatever we did in anticipation, it's all paying the returns right now.
All right. And what is that, if at all, an entrepreneur is thinking, to invest on IT or invest looking forward the current situation and remote working, the concept of remote working, what would be your advice to them? Because people are definitely going to look up to you as one of the role models or a brand.
The thing is, with remote working and the social distancing norms that are going to come into picture, the way social interaction is going to happen, which used to be very physical with a country like India, where people used to meet, talk, and gossip, create discussions, and then spread about the brand or the brand image or anything that they preferred, is all going to move into a digital context, because people are going to, like, just like how you and me are talking now on Zoom, more and more people are going to engage digitally with each other as well as with brands. So for any brand, how do you actually stay relevant with your customer directly with this whole digital idea is something that they need to ponder upon and probably try to spend a certain substantial income of their budget onto it as well. I think there is going to be a factor that, because of the work from home aspect, we are probably going to save up on the cost of infrastructure creation that is there,
Right.
and also the cost of rentals and the space and the real estate that we were spending upon to get so many people under the one roof. So, can this budget be reallocated into something other area where you are able to leverage the value of your customers' faith in your brand and build upon that, so that wherever the customer is, they are thinking about you when that particular thing is resonating in their mind. Is
So,
something that brands need to think about.
wonderful. How do you think the systems, processes, standardization, these aspects are important from the business point of view? And would it something that is differentiating you to be able to capture the whole of the situation right now to move forward to be under control?
Yeah, so the systems is definitely helping us. Systems and automations, I would say, have been two big backbones for us. The thing is, because of the systems and the automation in place, we are not heavily dependent upon the skill set of the manpower.
Okay.
So that way, there is a huge migration of labor that has happened across the country right now. So had we been dependent so heavily on the workforce or the labor or the personal human skill set that was there, we would have never been able to get back into production this soon. Because of the automation and the systems in place, we are able to ramp up our production to full speed in just about 3 or 4 days from a cold start of 6 weeks.
Wow.
So all of that is definitely helping us, because we don't have to waste time teaching people how to make something. That is what the machines are taking care of, and the standardized process and the SOPs that are in place are something that people are following.
Wow.
That is making the whole concept foolproof. So we can pass on that quality assurance concept to our customer better because of this assurance we have at the back end.
Wonderful. Whenever I speak to you, I get the sense of, a technical person behind and a structured person always looking for innovation. So many people do not know, Indranil, about the real machinery, physical machinery, and, behind this food business, people think food as food. Can you throw some light of, what machinery that is behind it, like a factory?
Yeah.
Some thought about that, that if you can share.
So what we thought about 5 years ago is that if you want to scale up the mithai business, we needed to scale up the production volumes as well. And if you had to scale up the production, then we need to move to a more automated environment, because that is only way where we can guarantee the quality of the product to be same throughout the day. Because otherwise it would change from person to person. So that is where we started investing on automation. And the idea was that, whatever products that are contributing to the bulk of our sales are something that we need to scale up more and automate most, because people prefer that. And if we are able to retain or improve our quality better in that aspect, then people are going to flock our stores or our retail environment for more and more reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why most of our star products, so be it bakarwadi, be it the chudas, be it pedhas, be it the burfis, or be it the katlis or the ladus, all of these products which basically form the pillars of all any mithai store are all automated. So bakarwadi is happening without any hand touch, kaju katli is happening without hand touch, mango burfi is happening without hand touch, the pedas are happening without hand touch. So that way, this whole social distancing is something that was ingrained into our culture when even before the term got coined this way.
Oh, okay.
So that's why with minimum manpower we've been able to start. And while doing that, because of the automation, we are able to ensure that there is no variation in quality. So maybe my general manager who's commuting from Pune might not be able to come to the factory every day because of the social distancing norms. But we are not worried that, the peda size will be different or the burfi size will be different or it will taste different. So that consistency is something we can guarantee, which is why we are able to be operational right.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Also, an element that I have learned very closely is to be able to trace the ingredients or the raw material back, say milk, to the cow, to the complete generation of cows. That's like amazing, and people do not know about it. So can you speak a little bit on that and how it has, yeah.
So back in about 2010, we started with the idea of using cloud computing to track the milk that was coming into our plant. So the milk is basically the most core factor of our supply chain, because we are retailing liquid milk as well, and we are converting milk into other milk products like Srikhand, Khoa, paneer, cheese, lassi, buttermilk, all these products as well. So that way, if we are able to control the quality of milk that comes inside the plant, most of our other products that are originating from milk will always be having a good quality. So that is where I started with the idea that, can we start tracking the data of the animals that are giving the milk to the plant? So that meant that going to the farmer's end and actually getting the data onto it. And that is how, we matured into the program called Cows to Cloud, where we are able to put in the data of about 40,000 odd animals into the cloud and track their activities, track their dietary cycles, track their gynecological cycles, track their health cycles, and give the farmers updates about when certain health checkups need to be done, when certain dietary modifications need to be done based on the pregnancy time, and all these aspects, which basically help the animal remain healthy and that way give a good output. And that way, that ensures that the farmer is happy because the farmer is getting a good ROI because of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if the start of our supply chain is happy and they are getting the maximum value, our entire cascading effect of this happens on the entire supply chain that comes after this. So that is why we are focusing heavily on getting the data there. And now all of this data management has gone into our factories, our point of sale, and all the over a lakh retailers are selling our product across the country. And we are able to track each and every retailer with what products they are selling, what products frequency they are selling, what range they are buying from us, and what is the frequency of replenishment, which helps us streamline our production, which helps us streamline our marketing plans, or which products we can push more, which products probably we don't need to market at all, so they are having a good pull, and naturally lead that to a fresher production lots and fresh product in the market. So that way we are a farm to fork organization where the entire supply chain is now data driven.
Wow, that's like remarkable. I also remember when I visited your setup for the milk processing. It was having retina detection, face detection algorithms at point in time. So where is this now? The whole ERP or the order management system? How is it equipped right now? Is it fully enabling?
Wonderfully well. And I think in this time where there is a mental block about biometrics and touch point being the point of contamination, the retina based detection is proving helpful because it's a contactless process as we see it today. And beyond that, we are able to track each and every person working in the factory very well. We know what they are up to, we know what they're doing, their productivity as well, and also manage the way the payment structures are happening. So people who are doing well are getting incentivized to do for doing well. Them doing well is also incentivizing other people to perform well because they see that there is a reward system that is associated with it. So that is helping keep the workers morale positive. They are eager to prove their points and work towards the betterment. And that is helping the organization grow because we are ultimately dependent on the people who work in the organization.
Right. Wonderful. So when we were talking last time, we were talking about the model that you have about franchising and eventually the growth model. At the point in time, you were having a pulse of where things are, what products are selling. How does it work? How does it work?
So what we do is that we are able to track the movement of every product in every store that is happening. So be it our franchisees or direct retail stores, be it our express stores, or be it any of our multi-brand retailers who sell our products. So be it supermarkets or kirana stores or local mom and pop stores.
Mm-hmm.
So the frequent what is sought after by the customer. Along with this, we are able to determine what we are probably not moving or what we can work on to improve the display systems in our stores, or probably give an offer for a parity of one product which is fast moving with one product which is slow moving, and create a brand value and a brand pool for that as well. So all of this data is helping us be more fine tuned, and that is helping us control our wastages. Because more importantly, the thing is we are a perishable food products brand. So food eventually, maybe 2 months, 2 days, or 2 years, it will eventually get spoiled if it is not sold. So we need to ensure that this spoilages are less because they hamper the quality of every person in the supply chain. Be it our retailers, be it our distributors, be it us as a manufacturer, or be it our suppliers because they are not able to. So all of this control on the bottom line helps us maximize our profitability. And if you see, right now, our rates are probably the most competitive in the market, and we are in most of the products cheaper than anybody in the competition while providing better quality. So all of this is something that we can achieve because, we have better controls in process, and that is not impacting our bottom line. So that way we are preserving the profitability of the company while doing all of this. So technology is actually helping us.
Wonderful. See, whenever I met you, I found you to be always enthusiastic, positive, and looking forward. Also, putting good amount of focus on the health and balance in life. So, what keeps you motivated, Indranil?
A couple of aspects, I would say. One is, of course, the legacy that we've inherited. Uh, I'm a fourth generation partner, and globally, about 2% businesses go into the fourth generation. So I am glad to be part of that 2% club across the world. And I think that is the big motivation for me, that we have to not just preserve this but grow this for our next generations, because that becomes an exclusive club to be in. That's one aspect. Secondly, it's also the fact that we are able to leverage so much technology and so many futuristic aspects into a business that is at heart a very traditional one. When we define our statement or the way our products are consumed, it is something that is to be adding joy to people's life. So, be it some celebration of office promotion, or a new birth of a child in the family, or a marriage, or somebody's birthday, they will be recalling us. So we are glad to be part of so many people's happiness and adding that small dimension of joy to their life. So that itself is a great motivation enough for me to keep working and keep enhancing how we can be available in multiple aspects of our customers' life.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I think that's really nice. See, over whatever we have spoken, I did not find a touch of despair, disappointedness, under stress, or difficulty. Are these words not in your dictionary, Indranil?
Well, they are there, but then there is an opportunity in every crisis. So we need to start looking ahead as well, because this new normal that everybody is talking about, it is true. It is not going away, and unless we decide to adopt, our relevance in the market will not be very well. This is true for every other brand as well, because the way conventional retail systems work is going to undergo a drastic change. So that way we have to look into the future and start taking more decisive steps for that. So yes, worry is there. There will be some tension as well, but we have to focus that and bring that into culmination for a very positive outlook.
Wonderful. So maybe as we close, there are people who are mixed-minded, having some doubts, may not be so positive. Any message that you have for the other entrepreneurs to really feel motivated?
Yeah, I can relate to the stress that other entrepreneurs are feeling, because we have been going through the same, and I have been interacting with a lot of other friends and suppliers who are also entrepreneurs in one way. So the stress is always going to be there, and what is very important is that first thing is that everybody needs to control their expenses in a manner where they are fruitful towards the organization and not something that add to your outflows. So if that expense can be controlled, and the focus is channelized on what exactly is the new normal going to be affecting you as an organization, things will start looking better. So this uncertainty is not going away, at least for half a year, I am pretty sure, because till the vaccine is found, there is no going out from this. So how do we adapt to this crisis is something that should be in the mind of every entrepreneur. While doing so, how can they leverage the whole financial system and the benefits that are going to come out very soon towards all the entrepreneurs, and utilize those to in a constructive manner is something that they should be thinking about. While doing so, they should also be thinking about the facts where, are there certain aspects that they were carrying forward for a very long time, which are not going to be relevant at all in the time to come, that they should get rid of. Because, this is going to be a time to be very lean in the way you want to operate. Not something that is about bulking up or being flatulent about it. So how do you actually be lean enough as an organization is something that should be the focus. If this focus is there and this outlook is positive, I am sure the doubts will be solved eventually, because time is the only solution.
Wonderful. I think the message is loud and clear. Dealing with uncertainty with positivity, having systems and standardization in place, investing good amount in forward-looking IT or infrastructure, having process end-to-end monitor, looked at. I think that's absolutely resonates to minds, Indranil.
Correct.
Thank you so much, Indranil, for coming on this session.
I'm glad.
Right, I was always thinking of you whenever this time came, and there was an opportunity where we could talk on this. So,
Glad.
so thank you for being on this session.
I wish all the best to you and all the viewers that are going to see this. So
wonderful, and our best wishes for you to really make exponential progress moving forward. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Indranil. Bye.